Okay, so I'm going to talk about something that perhaps maybe a lot of people don't maybe talk about so much. It be so many myths out here that float around in the garden and stuff, you know. People want to talk about composting methods and this, that, and other. And two terms that they like to use a lot is anaerobic and aerobic. Um, and usually what people say is you never want your compost to go anaerobic. It won't be good compost or this, that in the field for you. Don't want this to go anaerobic or that to go anaerobic. Let me tell y'all something that's a myth. And I'm going to tell you how you know it's a myth. So, have anybody ever heard of, is it bukkake or bukashi? I think it's bukkake or something like that. But anyway, what it is it is a way for you to do indoor composting for those that can't or don't have the ability to do outdoor composting, like say in a mound. Y'all don't mind these ashes. Composting in a mound, a pile, or something outside. All they have is maybe a small thing in their kitchen. So what happens is they send you this little kit. You get a little bin. You get these little microbes, and you start putting your food scraps in there, and you put the little powder on there. And what happens is, and you close it up, and I think once it gets full, you completely like close it down to where it's airtight, so that no smells or whatever leaches out. And then at that point, what's inside of there begins to ferment. And then when that begins to ferment, once it's done fermenting, the compost and stuff is done. There's this liquid that you can get off of it and use it to water your plants. It's very nutritious. And then you have the actual composted solids, for lack of a better word. I think that's how that works. I've seen it once or twice done before. And I think and it's also very quick. It doesn't take very long. I forget how long they say it takes, but it's not very long at all. Probably a month or less. But I don't know why I want to say 2 or 3 weeks. But anyway, that's one of the ways that you can do it. Well, y'all, fermenting is an anaerobic process. It's without oxygen. And everybody knows that fermented foods are good for you. Or at least I would assume most people know that. I shouldn't say everybody. But fermented foods are very good for you. So anaerobic, by people saying that, oh, that's not good for the compost, not good for the garden, I'm not even sure where that come from. When you make those fertilizers I tell you to make, where you just put the greens and you put them up underwater and they start breaking down or whatever, y'all realize that's basically fermentation, right? Like, you do your foods in the house the same way. The only difference is the food in the house, you put salt on it and then you let it ferment down. Now, to my understanding, the reason why you put salt, bad bacteria, and when I say bad, this is what I mean, bad for you to ingest. Just because they call it bad, it doesn't mean it's necessarily bad overall. It's not. There are certain bacteria that the human gut should not ingest. It'll make you sick. So you put that salt, most bad bacteria, well, pretty much any bad bacteria that you shouldn't ingest, they don't like the salty conditions, so they will not grow there. The only bacteria that will grow there are those bacteria that are good for your gut. That's why fermented foods and things are good for you, especially your digestive system, and your overall health. Um, because you need healthy bacteria to break down food. That's what your digestive system does, in case y'all didn't know. It's not just acid and all that kind of stuff. It's good bacteria in there too. That's why when you take antibiotics, you wonder why sometimes you get constipated or your digestion get thrown off. Yeah, that's why I don't care for antibiotics. Um, and I take them if I need them, but that's why I try to stay from at the doctor, because the first thing they want to do is give you antibiotics. And you kill all the good stuff in your body. And if you're like me, you try to work up all that healthy bacteria. Then you come in and kill it with all these pills, and you got to redo all that work again. But anyway, it's the same thing when you compost outside, or when you make these fertilizers, like I tell you, in this water. When you put that stuff up under that water and that stuff go to breaking down, it's fermentation. And that's why those fertilizers work so well on your garden, is because not only do they have nutrition, they have good, healthy bacteria that's going to get on the plants and get into the soil. And this is also why I try to advocate for you making your own fertilizers like that. Those fertilizers that you make, and like I said, you don't need nothing special. You don't need comfrey. You don't need, can you use it? Yeah, but you don't need that. Get some weeds. If you don't have a yard or something, go to a field or somewhere, a park or somewhere they got some weeds. Take your 5-gallon bucket, snatch up a bunch of greenery. Go out in the woods, snatch off a bunch of leaves and stuff off, just random stuff. Just snatch it. Now be careful, don't snatch nothing like poison oak, sumac, or ivy. We don't want you getting no rashes. But go in the woods and snatch up and take this stuff back home, put in some water and let it break down. And then water your stuff and make sure that fertilizer, get some of that on your leaves and stuff. Because let me say this, and I've said this a million times. I don't get powdery mildew hardly ever will you see me with powdery mildew. Number one, I don't water with municipality water if I don't have to. When it gets to the end of the season, we get to that drought part and my rain barrels is empty. When I get my underground rainwater collection, though, that's going to be a wrap with that. But we don't have that right now. All right, we got us the barrels. So when the barrels get empty, I don't have no choice but to go to municipal water. And I've explained why the chlorine in municipal water, I believe, is washing off all the, because your plants, just like your skin has good bacteria and biome on it, so do those plants. I believe that chlorine kills everything on them and allows for that powdery mildew to proliferate. But when sometimes that's all you can water with is municipal water. Well water, you're not going to have that issue. You shouldn't have a ton of chlorine and stuff in the water. And I'm not going to get into, they chlorinate our water. Yeah, but they have to. Because if you get coliforms in your water and you get cholera, then you sue the city and all this kind of stuff. We live in a litigious society. But that being said, those fertilizers have the same. So get some of that on your leaves if you can. That helps to increase that good biome on the leaves. I think those help fight a lot of that powdery mildew as well. So I think it's a combination of me using rainwater, number one. Number two, me using fertilizers that I make at the crib that have those good bacteria on them. Good bacteria often will overrun or fight off bad bacteria and or mildews, fungus, mold, whatever, and won't allow them to proliferate a lot of times. Especially, I'm talking mainly powdery mildew, things that grow on your leaves. I don't get a lot of funguses and stuff in my trees for the same reason. Periodically, I spray them with those. So keep in mind, these fertilizers, though they may sound simple or whatever, it's more than just nutrition in it. There's a science and things to it. There are things that go along with that. So I always understand that when they say anaerobic, a lot of time people are saying that they're regurgitating some stuff and they really probably don't even know how anaerobic versus aerobic bacteria actually work. They probably have no clue, because anybody that thinks that anaerobic bacteria are automatically bad is crazy. Your gut is full of them. If you think you have a whole lot of air in your digestive tract, you're out of your mind. It's a reason why you pass gas and burp. That is to purge your system of the air. Because and usually that air comes from them bacteria doing what they do, but you see your body purges you of it, so that way you won't be bloated, and because you should not have a lot of air in your digestive tract. So some of these things, I just think it comes from people just regurgitating stuff. So be careful with people who like to regurgitate things that they've seen or heard and have no clue how they work. If you ask a person to break that process down to you and they really can't do it, I'm going to say that they probably don't have a good grasp on what they're talking about. And they probably just regurgitating something. And you run the risk that they're regurgitating something from an idiot. And that is everything in life. Because just like you have people who want to talk about politics but have no clue how the political process works, those people need to be quiet. You have people who want to talk about anything, construction, religion, you have no clue how any of that stuff works. For instance, if you want to talk to me about religion and you have very little knowledge of history, I don't want to talk to you about it, because history and religion go hand in hand. Hand in hand. If you can't tell me what was going on historically during these periods when you want to tell you, then you need not talk to me about religion either. Because ideologies, thoughts, patterns, all that stuff boils down into religion as well. I'm not talking spirituality. That's different. I'm talking about religion. Because religion and history go hand in hand. Spirituality and history, not so much. They can, but they're not dependent upon each other. Religion and history are. And politics and history are too. But yeah, so just different things, y'all. Stretch your mind, try to think and try to do, and try to do the best you can. But like I said, I'm going to advocate again for you to be making your own fertilizers. I'm going to advocate for you to do that, and I'm going to advocate for you to, like for instance, if you prune anything, if you cut back anything, any of these plants, I know a lot of y'all, I'm just going to throw it in the compost. That's not bad. It's okay to compost it. But how about this? Put half in the compost, put half in some water. Press yourself to make you some funk water, as I call it. You know what I mean? Press yourself to make some of these things. Because I think a lot of times you all can run some of this stuff out of your garden if you would use it. Because like I said, notice the things that I don't fight with. I don't fight with powdery mildew. I don't fight with hornworms. I think that's because I have a lot of birds around here. Because like I said, I'll see damage every blue moon, but I never see the worm. I believe a bird have gotten to it. So you want to welcome birds into your garden too if you can. To a level. I'd put out about them organza bags. If you're going to welcome them birds in, you better have some organza bags, because the birds will wear your stuff out. They will eat your figs. They will eat your blueberries. They will eat your blackberries. They will eat your raspberries. They will peck on your peaches. They will peck on your apples. Especially when it get hot part of the season of drought. They need water too. Those fruits have water, and they're smart enough to know that. They were given the instinctual intelligence to know that. So they know where to go. They like what you like. So, so yeah. So let's get out here, y'all. And it's spring, and spring has sprung. And I don't know if we really gonna have a true spring, because it liable to go straight to summer. I hope not. But so y'all just be enjoying the weather while it's still cool, because I know here in a minute it's gonna be hot. I'm enjoying this now. I'm out here by the fire, and the mosquitoes don't like the smoke, so I'm out here. I ain't got no repellent on. Ooh, I almost feel like a new person. But anyway, until next time, see you guys later.